you. So I appreciate you guys being here and hanging with us throughout the game. The best way to sum it up, it's the best example of resiliency and toughness and just no quit mentality that I've ever been fortunate enough to be a part of. The game was 35-10 at one point, and all that you saw was guys saying, "We're gonna do this, because we can do it," and they did. And just kept clawing and scratching. The defense started, holding up, getting us the ball back, and well, you guys saw the rest. So I'll just go right to questions.
Yeah, just when you guys were down 25, when did you see things start to change, or what ultimately did change?
Look, and I'll hold by this, and I'm sure it'll show up on film. We did a lot of routine things wrong today, and we dropped a lot of routine passes. We dropped, we had some routine reads that we weren't didn't follow through on. We started running the ball well, started establishing that, and then we had some discipline issues on defense, where I think in the first half they had half the amount of plays that we had, half the amount of yardage, but were beating us by a couple of scores. So we did a lot of routine things that require discipline, technique, and fundamentals. We did those wrong, and it led to us being in a hole. So we had to do a lot of things right and still did some things wrong to fight out of it.
Have you ever seen a quarterback like Cam Ward that can just stay in a game no matter what the score is? And
no, that's why everybody says, if he throws a pick or whatnot, the pulling the reins. It's like you can't let a guy make that many plays and have that much self-confidence in the moment. It doesn't go your way, start getting nerved up and start pulling the plug on the whole thing. The one thing you got to understand too, as the game goes on, the other side's getting worn out too now. You see the pass rush starts to slow down, the coverage starts to soften up a little bit. We're getting off press better, we're beating man coverage better. Early on, we had a tough time seeing the field. And credit to them, they had 2 weeks to prepare for us. We got every wrinkle, every call beater you could imagine. And it's awesome. It's awesome to travel 3,000 miles, have the air conditioning busted in there, and have the opposing team have 2 weeks to prepare for you. Aside from that, everything was perfectly fine.
The defense, had their turnaround too.
They really did. That was, to me, that was a part. And we even overcame a face mask after a sack and got him on the ground again in a big hit. Man, wow, what a big hit. Credit to Cal. I need to say that, really. I should have said at the beginning, to Coach Wilcox and his team, to the environment, provided by, game day and the people here. And then to Mendoza, who, obviously there's a lot of ties there, go back a ways. Just a gutty, talented young man that played his heart out, but all about the game.
The decision to go for 2 in the third quarter proved to be huge. Just what went into that decision? Obviously, you're down by a lot, but just
some simple charted. That's the analytics, and we want to gives you a chance. The way the score was, things were getting away from us. You don't want to make it a 2-score game and end up playing. Later on, we'll go for 1, but we're not chasing points. So we made the right calls. Felt like all the stuff regarding that and regarding when we're going to use our timeouts and what we're going to call when. When you're down there, it's tricky because you still got to have a touchdown, but there's 30 seconds on the clock. So you can be picky if you want to, but then if it's 4th down and your throat's all lodged up because you haven't scored yet, it's different. So I think Coach Goodry and his coaches made some great adjustments to get us. So it was 3 in a row where they got us the ball right back. It was 35-10, and it went to 35-18, then 38-18, then 38-25, 38-32, 39-32. Him, Coach Dawson, they just kept chipping away, man. They just kept working the cut. And then again, the players, man, the leadership on the team. Whenever there was a timeout, TV timeout, injury timeout, whatever it was, you saw offensive players coming out to encourage the defensive guys and the vice versa. You saw a lot of that. You just saw a team that their belief in each other is absolutely insane. Because I don't think I'd be curious to see how many people turned off their TV and moved on. So good for them. Good for us.
Have you ever had a day like this, like in terms of length, where it's you're doing game day at 6 a.m. and now it's midnight?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's every day over there in Miami.
Well, yeah, but
that's what we do, brother.
Sure.
We get up early like this. You know what? The travel was great. There was I don't think anyone should or could point at that. We handled it the right way. I think all the teams, for the most part, that traveled out west did a good job. Systems are in place, processes in place. So, but for the players, they were ready and they want to play ball, And we started out fast, but man, we sure made a. We'll talk about it when we get back home. We made a lot of mistakes tonight.
And you mentioned last week after the Tech game that last year's team or teams before would have found a way to lose that game. A game like tonight, I feel like maybe teams from the past couple of years might have found a way to just kind of let the game kind of play out. Where did you see things start to change and the differences in their attitude?
I think I need to do a better job articulating certain things because it comes across almost like down and I don't want to do that. I don't. I know why it was so important to come back to Miami. Moments like this make it. They validate all that stuff. Is to get that thing turned, to be part of getting the thing turned where it just you fight to get it done. You find a way to get it done. But yeah, I don't know how many teams in the country would have come back against that defense. Okay, that defense leads the country in interceptions and is a top 10 defense from a production standpoint. So, no, this team has got we could be so good, man, and we got to get there because it's because we have to, because we need to.
To build
a few more questions for Coach.
To build on that, Mario, the bye week, is it coming at the kind of the right time to fix some of those mistakes?
We're beat up.
Yeah,
we are. We're beat up. I mean, we had Ruben back tonight. We saw some of the impactful plays he had, but you look at game one, when we were hitting on all cylinders early, we lost 4 guys that game. We lost Damari, we lost Ryan Rodriguez, Jalen Rivers, Ruben Bain, and 2 of those 4 guys went out for the coin toss. Those are important guys, and it's been 6 weeks. And now Ruben looked great tonight, so he'll be at full strength. Elijah Alston, we expect him to be back when we get back as well. Jalen Rivers, we expect him to be back. Damar's going to take a little bit longer. And then 2 things that have to be done. Number 1, we've got to get our guys healed up and rested and recovered, while at the same time, polishing technique and fundamentals and diving deep into us, self-scout. And the second part is we got to get more guys, more of the reserves, to play winning football for us. We've got to continue the process and the push for development so that guys can get, when they have meaningful snaps, that they're not just kind of eating up space, that they're actually out there performing their job at a high level and making plays.
Mario, last week you mentioned that you'll want game at the end go on the rest with that last play. When they were reviewing for targeting, were you holding your breath a little bit on that last defensive drive?
I didn't. I just gave it to God and said, thank God, so that's the way it should be.
What was the conversation with Cam? You guys were talking on the sideline after the interception. What were you able to say to him in that situation?
Well, we can't talk about that in here. We can't say it. No, Cam's a dog, man. He's a dude. It's one of those. I mean, in his eyes, he was 1,000% convinced that he was going to get it done. And people say, "Oh, I just say that because the game was." No, that dude all week long knew that this game was going to be a challenge because what to do coverage-wise. And he had a look in his eye that was just like, okay, this guy's he's gonna rip it. And when he threw that pick, that they ran back, it got dialed up. It turned up even more. So, I've said it a million times. Complete and utter faith in that guy and everything he represents and stands for.
Mario, on the 4th down, there were some integral 4th down plays, and the one where the other team went for it, and then you called a timeout, and then they came back and got it.
They were trying to sneak it, and we wanted to use a timeout to try to get the ball, and in their territory, if we could stop it. They run a sneak or they run, the slice play, which they ran, and we lost the eyes for it. And then on our side, was about one. It was a long one. It was about 1.5, and I just felt like, man, we run the ball well. Been leaning on these guys. Arroyo's a dangerous guy to cover, so is Riley. And when we slipped them out there, they're in cover 0. That guy took a great angle. We took a great angle, and before we could get turned around and up the field, he cut our legs underneath us.
And the other thing I want to ask you about, there were on both sides of both teams some unsportsmanlike conducts.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't stand those, understandably, but what is that? Just the tenseness of the situation, or what happened there?
I mean, some of it is complete and utter BS. We haven't solved some of that with certain guys, so we'll have to take another step. But And then some of it, it's like, come on, they're playing ball. Like these are, we play a sport where we're asked to smash ourselves into each other for 3-4 hours a day, and then like be absolutely perfect outside of that time. Like, who are we kidding, right? It's football. So, I love the physicality of the defensive line. I thought those guys really, the run that broke was one that was more of a bounce/wrap play. Aside from that, their inside run had a tough time going. Their outside game, pure outside run game, had a tough time going. Their counter power game had a tough time. They hit us with the Wildcat, and I know that. But overall, proud of the D line. Yeah, we asked a lot of the offensive line. We threw the ball how many times?
53, I think.
53. It's imagine pass blocking 53 times, right? I could see Gary Furman pass block 53 times. See what that looks like.
Plus they were run blocking. You ran the ball as well as you have all year.
We 86 offensive plays. 86 offensive plays. So, have you all seen a game like that? I mean, that's pretty special, right? Pretty different. Everybody had their turn, and guys made a lot of plays, man. Xavier Restrepo, my lord, incredible player. Special teams did a great job getting them on the ground and almost knocking out a return as well. The red zone, we were really, really good. So, and you know what we did? We did protect the ball. We never fumbled that thing. So
what did you say in the locker
This is the
room?
last question for Coach.
What did you say in the locker room? Yeah, it was obviously.
what I'll do is I'll summarize it for you because they are choice words. I mean, that's one thing about football that you always want to be open with media, but you don't want people to be intrusive where you can't be you, and you can't let out the raw emotion and passion that is necessary sometimes to take someone to the edge and go yourself and take your team to the edge. And this team when this team gets on edge, it's really, really good. And the edge was lost in the form of discipline, technique, and fundamentals. I'm talking about routine plays. You're going to see a ton of routine plays on tape that, man, come on, Miami, you make those. You make those, and you've made them all year long. So we made them when they counted, and went out.